The weather in Australia, Canada, United States, Australia first. Doesn't look like Australia, right? You would expect to see massive flames. Queensland got massive flooding. And I'm going to play this broadcast. It's, drought-stricken Australia. Now, whole lot underwater. It's remarkable that people are not questioning what is happening here. But man is controlling the weather. Absolutely. I can say that definitively. And more are going to suffer the consequences of this. Because our mainstream media reporters will not tell the truth. They just read what they are handed. They don't do investigation, and they certainly don't ever cross that line from civilian to military.
Caravan parks and sporting fields have all been inundated and cars swept away in flash flooding as a megastorm dumped hundreds of millimetres of rain across the southeast overnight. Rising water levels shut down the M1 for hours, causing traffic chaos. Theme parks too closed for the day, and there could be more rain on the way.
They knew there'd be rain, but no one expected this. Roads now rivers, residents forced to row boats down Gold Coast streets. The deluge causing landslides, water cascading through houses at Oxenford.
Our property, and it was about half a metre deep.
Backyards got water features, whether their owners wanted them or not.
Well, firstly I thought, oh wow, that's going to be really difficult to kind of clean up. And then I realised it's a lot worse than I thought it was. So I really didn't know what to do.
Residents could do little but watch the water rise around them in their streets, yards and homes.
Bucketed down, we got water through the roof and backyard. People above us, all their water's coming through our yard.
Cars swallowed up and set floating down suburban streets.
There's a car there, a yellow one, gone.
A lucky escape for two people at Currumbin after a tree fell onto their car. Holiday makers at this Helensvale caravan park forced to flee in the early hours for their safety.
People were pretty distraught, especially children. Yeah, it was pretty hectic. Yeah, pretty quick. It just rose up so quick.
Dozens of caravans have been destroyed, campers forced to pack up and move on. The big wet meant big delays. Queensland's busiest highway, the M1, closed in both directions for 6 hours as water levels rose, causing mayhem on the motorway, leaving many drivers frustrated.
No one's given me any advice.
Some gave it a shot anyway. Many others caught out. Movie World looked more like Wet and Wild, closed for the day. Dreamworld shut down too. Car parks normally full at this time of year, completely empty. Entire sports precincts were swamped. Tennis courts became swimming pools. Horses at Mudgera Bar walked to higher ground, cows soggy and stranded as water rose around them. The deluge starting in the early hours, dumping up to 330 millimetres of rain, almost double the January average on parts of the Gold Coast in a matter of hours.
We saw some 1 in a 100-year thresholds being met over southeast Queensland.
291 millimetres fell at Burleigh Waters, 301 at Carrara. Parts of the Sunshine Coast got up to 150 millimetres. Some localised flooding in Brisbane, 106 millimetres recorded at Mount Cootha. While the waters have receded quickly, the clean-up could take weeks.
There was nothing we could have done. It just, when it floods, there's nothing will stop it.
More than 500 insurance claims were lodged within hours of the storms. That number expected to rise. Ebony Cavallaro, 9 News. A lucky...
Doesn't stop. All right. I've shown satellite images of Australia. Nanotechnology is being used. The nanobots in Queensland have been pretty intense in terms of just seeing them in that area. But the frequencies being used, I'll show you satellite. I mean, it's so obvious now, and it's not going to stop until people begin to question what is going on here. You're drought-stricken to a point where there are areas that are carting in water because there's no water in those communities. And is that New South Wales? But I also believe it's in Queensland, maybe all over. You're drought-stricken, and then suddenly you're hit with these rains that are so destructive. But this is a train. All the trains derailed. When was this? 10 months ago? 11 months ago? Hit repeatedly. Do people not remember all of the flooding that took place not too long ago? Now you have massive flooding again? The flooding has, destroyed a lot of your farmland, cattle ranches. It's really, God, I'm sorry for even getting that far. February 11, 2019, 11 months ago. So you have, the numbers are staggering. How many people are suffering the consequences, losing everything to floods and fires? The animals? I'm sure a lot of you know how many animals have died in the fires that are still ongoing, that have been ongoing since what, September 2019? And now you have more flooding, but this occurred 11 months ago. And I can't play the music because it's just... I can't listen to that. This is all coming about deliberately. Bacterial virus in the floods, 1 person dead and 10 others in intensive care, 500,000 cows drown. I mean, okay, that people are not questioning what's happening here is really just remarkable. I wanted to show you, this was on the 16th at 7:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. So what time is that? It's, well, even just look at this. Here's your fires. You always have a cloud mass either sitting on your, just off the coast or inland that just sits there, and you have these air masses going in every which way. You've got an awful lot of these nanobots, and the frequencies in use. So your fires are controlled and your flooding is controlled. Here's a straight line. This cloud is held motionless. You have an air mass going down the southeast. You've got an air mass going off to the west. You have these straight lined, these are the signatures of frequencies in use. And if you have extremely low frequencies right here in this area. You'll see the lines carved out long lines. And I'm just seeing that now, so that's why I didn't. Right here. And it takes this circular pattern, which is the high frequency, the extremely low frequency, and the microwaves all over. It's very obvious. Mainstream media, meteorologists will never ever tell you the truth. They do not cross that line. They will not talk about what militaries are doing. Here, microwaves. Air mass coming in, air mass going out. Whole lot of instability created right here. Instability in your atmosphere is going to create instability down below. All these microwaves right here, going up to Queensland. So this was at 7:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. So that was about, I guess, 11:44 your time on the 17th, when they brought about the floods. But this is Queensland territory. You can see the frequencies here. The right angle right here. None of this is Mother Nature. You just have a whole lot of mess. Nanobots along the coast. Nanobots inland. Nanobots and microwaves on the western periphery of this storm. Straight line feature right here. This was at your time on the 18th at 11:24 a.m. No, more, I'm sorry, 3:24 a.m. or p.m., I'm sorry. This is in the afternoon on the 18th, yesterday. You can see held in place, nanobots, same area, air masses going in every which way. Look at this. I mean, they can control the speed of air masses. They can control the nanobots, where they go, the direction they want them to go in, and their velocity, their speed. So yeah, you've got the push of one air mass going east, another one going west, this one going up north. This is the Queensland area. All of these are nanobots. This is not Mother Nature just, I think I want to just create these little blips of cloud and just bring them about. And then, oh yeah, I'll create a nano factory. This is your nano factory. The creation of the nanobots. And this was very strange because it looks as if these, and I'm so sorry that you guys can't see the red and green on the satellite. But click on the link below and come over and you'll see it. But these are lines of nanobots that take on an extremely low frequency formation. Do these nanobots, can they emit frequencies? Yes. Yes. But, you know, the microwaves right here. Microwaves. Microwaves. It's really, you know, the frustrating part about this is that it has become so obvious that Mother Nature is not operating anymore, and nanotechnology is. So we've got a new technology that I'm sure has been operating for a while, but now we're overloaded with nanobots throughout our atmosphere all over the world. And due to the amount of technology that they now have, the tools, the methods to create weather, to whip around winds, to create these tractor trailers just flipping all over the place, fires, wow, the winds, we can't put them out, the flooding. There are many methods that they can use to create all of this, but it sure does look like nanotechnology is now a big player. A big player in all of this. So when you see these formations of cloud, you cannot think, look at that nice pattern, the high frequency circular line. You have a push of air masses in both directions right here. You've got this twirling about in the cloud right here. The straight lined features. It's, well, do you know, do you need to know all of the details? No. You don't. You just need to know that man is absolutely controlling this, and it's bringing about an awful lot of destruction, and that we can't get through to people. We're just going to be seeing more and more and more destruction. And look at these air masses going, they're colliding over here. This is not Mother Nature. She's been put into retirement. Okay, Missouri.
Oh, guys. I want to show y'all something. Got the ice. Our truck covered in ice. I mean, it's bad over this way. Look at this. Binder. Fucking ice. Some shit. Anyway, that's about it. I'm gonna show y'all that. It's hell, broke one of my windshield wipers. I'm gonna have to fix that tomorrow. Anyway, that's about it, guys. I just want to show y'all what it looks like over here in Missouri.
They're saying that this storm here in the United States, going through the Midwest plains, Central Plains, on, you know, up north, New England. All right. They're saying that this is the storm that you guys in Washington, Oregon, Northern California, this is not the same storm. I cannot believe that I read that. I cannot believe it, because this is a storm that was created way down south from that storm. Yeah. Just want you to take a look at what it looked like last night. All right, this is the storm. Another bombogenesis. You know, those hurricane, the swirling blizzards that they now seem to have a lot on off the coast in the Pacific as well as the Atlantic. So you can see it's painfully obvious, the microwaves in use right here. And this was another storm that was created. You can see the right-angled edges. That's a signature. They've been hit with frequencies to shift the air mass. So look at this. You have this storm. It's fed by nanobots, the Pacific. And you have the right-angled push right here. Well, some of it is going up north, some of it is going east, northeast. Right here. This storm now is the same pattern. There's a pattern now of these storms. This is being held constant right here off the coast of Mexico. But this is not the same storm. This is an entirely different creation. Look how nicely defined it is. But just like this storm that they have going, they break it off and move some up north and some inland. These are all these nanobots going in different directions. They're all over. This was at 11:29 p.m. last night. And it's so clear. Oh, another bombogenesis. Wow. Okay. And people aren't going to question that. So let's go to GOES 16 east. And wow, you got a bombogenesis up here too. Oh my God. Come on. Come on. Enough. Please. All right. This whole storm, look, I've never seen so much cloud before in our atmosphere. All of these nanobots, the right-angled feature that's whipping this around, but this is Newfoundland, and Newfoundland is experiencing the consequences of man. But you see a real thrust happening right here, and it's coming out of this. This is not Mother Nature, not at all. Not at all. Nanobots inland. Look at this, how straight-lined it is. All right, those are the features that it's man. Not Mother Nature whatsoever. Not Mother Nature whatsoever. Well, it's hard to see all of this destruction taking place. So this storm, once again, it was fed from off the coast of Mexico or inland Mexico. All of these are nanobots. The circular pattern, perfect circles. Well, computers, nanobots, they can create quite a lot of perfection. So 11:29 p.m. Once again, they have grown this storm 1,000+ miles. That's the repeat, 1,000+ miles now. That's what we have here in Texas, going on all the way up north. Eventually, we'll get to Canada. But here it is now at 11:23 a.m., 12 hours later. Wow. Look at that. Either Mother Nature has perfected herself, or it's man. Oh, yeah, it's man. Because Mother Nature works in a circular pattern. That's all you need to know. Mother Nature does not create perfect lines, thin, precipitation for what? I don't know, how many miles might this be? 800? Not sure. 600? 500? I don't know. But isn't it interesting? Wow. Okay. But it's not going anywhere. It's just not going anywhere. This line of precipitation. Well, that's another obvious. These storms literally are created. They hang out, the cloud and perhaps precipitation coming on down. But I say perhaps because you don't know. It looks like it could be, but it may not be. But these cloud formations, they just continue to grow and grow. You don't see it moving from its base, its factory. It just continues to grow. Now this thing is going all the way up into like central Canada. This is down here in Texas. The microwaves being used, the different air masses, one going south and rippling around right here, and this going up north. You know, it's like, okay, let's take a look at it right now. Okay, so that was at 11:23. You know, the tail. We always have a tail. I've posted it over and over and over again. This is the same pattern. The creation of it is off the coast of Mexico or inland Mexico, going right through Texas and then on up into Canada. And this is another, what could be a bombogenesis, because they split. You see this fine line right here and here. They are all of the nanobots still hanging out on the Atlantic, in the Atlantic, above the Atlantic. The air masses, okay, right here is the right angle. They're pushing it up and pushing it out. All of these glittery things, nanobots. And they're feeding this. They were not feeding this just from the coast in Mexico, but from the Gulf. As you can see, they're still feeding it from the Gulf and from the Atlantic. This whole thing is being fed 3 different locations. So this is now 2:25. So 3 hours later, still have the tail. Frequencies being used. Extremely low frequencies being used up here in Wisconsin. The whole thing. Once again, we have a 1,000+ mile storm and making its way to Canada. Man is boring. Mother Nature was not. Same pattern over and over and over again. And boy, the repeats are becoming more and more frequent. So let's just zoom into a couple of areas. See all of the microwaves? See this straight line edge right here? You've got, oh, I don't know if you can see it. It's faint. See the black lines? Let's go into a local. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's unbelievable. No, your mainstream meteorologists are really just immoral. Sorry for the use of this term, but I can't. It just came to mind. Scumbags who are just about a paycheck. Look at all of this. Now, my hunch, black carbon dust being dumped in as well. Perhaps bringing about slushy rain. They can use black carbon dust to melt snow. None of this is Mother Nature. But look what occurs right here. You have the ripple effect. It's very faint. I'm not sure if you can see that. The microwaves down here. You can see the ripple effect up here. It's very faint, but you have a very straight edge. It looks like it's fanning out, almost like a beam has hit it. Right here, it's very faint. I can't zoom in because then I just lose the... It just zooms off my screen. But it's right here. Very faint, but all of these ripples, click on the link below, come over. You can check it out. Unbelievable. The frequencies being used in this. Look at this, okay? Mother Nature does not create defined, lined cloud with all of these ripples. Microwaves are being used pretty intensely in this. I hope you can see this. It's fanning out into like this V-shaped. You can see all of the ripples inside it, and you can see ripples down here and here, up here too. The whole thing controlled. And you've got to suffer the consequences. And that's what I'm sick of. I don't know if you can see it now, but it's not really pronounced, but it's visible. All of the microwaves down here. They're whipping around the air mass, and it's just going now in a circular pattern to hang out, you know, forever up here. Your cloud mass in North Dakota, South Dakota, just it's hanging out there. And they say that the southeast portions of the Dakotas are going to get hit the hardest with Minnesota. Well, guess what? Your cloud is just hanging out right there. They're not moving it. They're moving an air mass around it. You have this cloud up here in California that is just kind of like this rectangle cloud that is hanging out, and then the cloud, the air mass above it, moving along. This has just been sitting there for hours and hours and hours. And yeah, I mean, it's, let's go up to Newfoundland. They're whipping around the air masses with a speed that is pretty intense. All of this, the nanobot factory, the self regenerating bots going into the Newfoundland area and right along the coast, the microwaves you can see down here. But these air masses, you got one going up, well, north, and then this coming down south, and then going off to the east, rolling around, of course, because, well, what do you got there? You've got another bombogenesis. Unbelievable. Air mass is coming down south, going up north, colliding. And if you take notice, you'll notice that the nanobots are very well controlled. You'll see them inland covering up, like I did the state of Florida, but they do not cross the border, or they're along the coast, do not cross the border. Well, all right, so Nebraska.
winter storm unfolding.
Wait. What?
We have a classic winter storm unfolding.
A classic winter storm unfolding. Do you see the amount of snow here? This is Nebraska. Nebraska gets snow. So what's happening here that suddenly all of our weather is life-threatening? Nebraskans, you guys in the Dakotas, Minnesota, Northeast, we know how to deal with snow. This is not a lot of snow. But your authorities are constantly warning you, trying to keep you safe.
You really need to use extreme caution.
Our ask is that you reconsider your plans and you really think about your own personal safety and you consider whether or not you have to travel at all.
All right, so we didn't, this is a whole new way of living, okay? We didn't have life-threatening storms every single day. We didn't have a repeat pattern of weather occurring. And it seems to be occurring now with great frequency. Severe weather 2 days ago, severe weather today, severe weather this weekend, severe weather last weekend. Oh, and during the week, we've got those tornadoes killing people and destroying property. No, we did not live this. So what's going on? It's not climate change. And even those of you who believe in climate change, understand this. Any radical changes that come about, they don't come about naturally. They come about because they are engineered to come about. Man is bringing about those radical changes. Even if it was climate change, the changes would come about incrementally, not radically. And what we now have is a severe weather season. And we've got these bombogenesises, and we've got all of these new terms, and we've got the training storms, and we've got storms that, well, just have tails. Over and over and over again. Well, that needs to be questioned because this is all engineered. We know it is. We know it is. And here, due to the extreme snow and cold, we're asking anyone thinking of doing criminal activity to hold off until Monday. It's a straight up horrible to go to jail. A 30-minute ride will take 2 hours. You don't want to be stuck in the not roomy squad car with Nickelback playing. I don't know what Nickelback is. It's a cruel and unusual punishment. Okay, Minnesota Lake making a joke. You know, if we made a joke about the police, well, we would be maybe investigated. So here's sprawling winter storm slams up upper Midwest plains, canceling hundreds of flights. Airlines, actually virtually all domestic airlines, beginning to issue travel waivers in the face of a major snowstorm. You know, if this was the only effect of all of these storms, that it was a major inconvenience to an awful lot of people because their flights were canceled, that would cause a lot of disruption. But it's not the only thing happening. So stranding drivers along major highways. We've had interstates that have been closed. It's a sprawling winter snowstorm. Now sprawling seems to be, well, that's what we'll call it, a sprawling. Oh, it sprawls from Texas, all the time, or in the Gulf, and it sprawls all the way up to Canada. Give me a friggin' break, please. And yeah, I'll link below to this article. Fire trucks are now being blown over, and you know, they're always trying to warn you. Newfoundland has been hit hard. Still have their state of emergency, which means ordered by the government, close your business and stay off the road. And I will link below to these articles. You know, here, blizzard in a hurricane. Well, it's that bombogenesis that occurs along the coast, Pacific, along the coast, Atlantic, and in the middle, where they begin to wrap it around. Right here. And, you know, just picking up on the language, blizzards are common in Newfoundland, but this one's unique. Well, you better check out why it's unique, because the power outages, the trees coming down, the trees falling on homes and cars, and you got to close your business, and you got to stay off the road. This causes tremendous disruption. Trudeau tweets, hey, federal government ready to help you if you need it. Labrador and Newfoundland. Worst blizzard conditions forecasted to hit the eastern Dakotas, Minnesota, northern Iowa. 231-mile stretch of I-29 close. The interstate closures, 84, 29, others I can't remember. State Highway Patrol warned drivers to stay off the roads. Do not travel on these roadways, and don't try to get around the closures on the secondary roads. You know, you'll get stranded, put your life and others in danger. Well, still seeing motorists disregarding our warnings about the slick roads. North Dakota Highway Patrol. So, heed your local authority figures. Here, Fargo, I-94, closed from Bismarck to Fargo. Parts of 84 in Idaho, multiple crashes. Man killed in an avalanche, Lake Tahoe ski resort. Oh, and a man killed after the Sierra Avalanche Center gave warning of dangerous conditions. So, once again, you better listen. The avalanche is under investigation. Great Lakes, New York, New England, watch out. All right, I'm going to link below to everything. But you know what? This is really, wow, it's getting pretty frustrating seeing all of this on a daily basis, guys, on a daily basis, wherever you are in this world. More and more are suffering the consequences of man controlling weather. Weather used as a weapon. Mother Nature, now in retirement, nanotechnology, electromagnetic frequencies, geoengineering, weather modification has taken over. Man has taken over. Stay safe.